Hey, going. Can you hear me? Oh, you're on mute. Hey.
Having some technical difficulties tonight.
It's okay.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not, I just saw Commissioner Farmer's email, so I don't know if he'll make it or not. He said maybe. I sent a text, but yeah, he didn't respond.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it's just us.
It's just us. Thank you. Should we start by seeing how you feel about Thursday? How Thursday went?
I thought it was a little bumpy myself. I really did. And a lot of it was because the the pages, I
I
couldn't
know. I
tell
was so
Micah
confused. I
what.
was like, Micah, it's not matching.
Yeah, it's so that was part of the problem, and I don't think anybody could see or read the screen because it was a document. And so I think what probably, in hindsight, what probably would have been better would have been a PowerPoint.
Yeah, I could have made that into a PowerPoint and shared it with Micah. I didn't realize that that was what was happening. So I didn't know that that was the plan. I didn't realize that that was the plan because I could have did something really quick for us, but it's okay. People
Yeah.
still think,
So that was, my big thing was that it just it didn't go smoothly. I mean, and it, so I the I do hope that what the message was that we sent forward was that this is serious. It's not, I mean, this is about literally about life and death. And when you have 288 law enforcement officers take their own lives in 1 year, which was 2019, that is very serious. So, and it isn't just that, it's
yeah,
their families, it's their friends, it's the people that they work with.
yeah.
I
Mm.
mean, it's all exponential. So, that, and then for folks, hopefully they understood what the impact is on, how that trickles down to, the community and the city, and that it costs money to not have a good health and wellness program. So, and
And
that we,
yeah, and it's interesting because we got that one comment, which I already knew it was coming because she's already said something about it before that strategic plan is in our lane and we're not supposed to work from that, from one of the members of the public that has time to criticize everything that we do or try to do. But what I found interesting is that OPD, people talk about the commission and OPD not working together, and like DC highlighted, this felt really important, wanted us to take to support you. We felt good, you felt good about it, and then it also leverages, it gives us a place to know where to check, and what's happening and what's going on, and making sure that, like you said, it is literally life and death, and so that there is a plan to prioritize. Like, why can't we be of support of that? So it felt important to have you there and have DC feel really proud of it. And you
and
put in a lot of work.
And the thing is, too, is that if it isn't your lane, I don't know what is, because the whole idea is for us to collaborate and work together. I mean, to me, that's what this is all about. It's not us versus them or any of that.
Right.
There are talented people within the police department. There are talented people on the police commission. It's like, we don't see things the same way, which is a good thing. We don't within the police department. You don't within on the commission. But nobody has all the answers. So I think that the idea of collaboration, especially when it's two entities like this, is the only thing that really is going to save us from ourselves mostly.
It's important that we show we could be united and work together and come up with something that feels thoughtful and inclusive. And I think I've learned a lot being on this commission, and it's hard. I've already known there's no way when serving people that everyone is going to always be happy. Like, that's just not possible. And some people have better nuance than others. Some people pretend to have nuance, but all that they do is critique and criticize and actually just want it one way in their own way, and then pretend that it is nuanced and fair, and so it's an interesting spot to be in, because I think we have a very good working relationship. I mean, you um have really, stepped in and did a huge, like, solid. I won't even say it's a favor. It's really like, you care about this work deeply. And so you committed to it. And I agree with you. We're not going to all think the same. And so it's important to say, where can we meet in the middle? Where can we find a way? Because now, once there's other things we'll have to do. And whether we keep the ad hoc going or not, there's still tasks. I still need to follow up. I need to see where they are with the training and how things are. And so, this concept that it's not our lane, but then what happens then when OPD is penalized because we say you haven't done anything?
Well, and the thing is too is that I really hope I made it clear, last week was that we have to support each other. I mean, that is what this is about. How do we move this forward? That's why I emphasize that checklist, because that was the question you asked. How do we move this forward? Oh, beautiful document, but now what?
Yeah.
So I think the other thing is that is critical to all of this is accountability. That word is used so much in the city of Oakland by so many entities, but it really is something that's necessary. And I think if nothing else, if the police commission members say, we know this exists, and now we want to know where you are with it and what is
Exactly.
happening.
Exactly.
So, because that accountability piece is important, because when you have challenges like lack of staff, lack of funding, people who are working, overtime and not getting the proper sleep and
Right.
food and exercise that they need, you're going to have problems. So I think that makes it extremely important that we're checked.
No, it makes so much sense, because I've been seeing this in the work, and just even in the day, when people are short staffed, when people are low resource, have lower capacity, whether it's staffing, people working more, funding shortages, people, one, revert to old patterns that no longer serve. And two, the first thing that typically go is the mental health. And we need to make sure the officers are mentally healthy so they can be healthy in the community with people. And so it's a priority. And like you said, if there's short staff and there's nobody doing the work, or the budget isn't aligned and no one's doing the mental health work, then accountability looks harsh, because but when we get plan things like this together and create a timeline and figure things out and say, okay, let's kind of tier it, let's check where are we with this, where are we with this, and create a plan, it's just better for everybody. So I'm happy we did, all of these things and got it
And the
done.
idea of understanding too, because I think that I have a much better understanding of how the commission works and what your goals are, and even what kind of limitations you have. So that was really helpful for me. And I really do hope that the work of the ad hoc is continued, because the work is not done yet. And like you said, the training piece. I know Commissioner Farmer with the policy piece. Those are two pieces that are really, really important, because we have a blueprint that says, okay, who, what, when, where, and how, but there is nothing that says you will do this. And I know it's only a policy, but the policy for wellness and the policy for peer support and critical incidents, those are both in the works. And
Right.
I think if we work together and get those policies a final draft prepared,
I think
that
so.
coming from us, and I say us because I think the woman that DC Osmus talked about that she hoped to put in as the subject matter expert with the ad hoc. I really hope that she's really experienced, and she is an officer. Did just finish her PhD in psychology. I don't know what area. She hasn't done her practicals yet, but she is. I think she's the perfect person to do this. I really do.
Right.
So just to carry it forward, but I think that the best outcome will be from us doing this together because one, we get your input on these policies. Two, you become familiar with them. And then three, we have a joint coalition going to whomever saying, this is something that we think will work. It's
Yeah.
coming from, both entities. So I really, really going forward, I think that next those policies, and then we need to talk about training. So
Yeah, and so I think that's the next step because we need to look at these policies and figure out, what do we do with it here, make sure there are policies, 'cause, to your point. And then even if we start it and then it goes to the policy ad hoc or just the full commission, at least we can get this started because you're saying there's not a policy for those things.
there is one for peer support and critical incidents, but we're in the process of updating it. So that one's almost finished. The other one I have the uh, what one of the things I
And
think
when
with
you
the
say
mental
peer
health one.
support, you're saying peer support as it relates to critical incident or separate?
It's one policy. It was peer support, critical incidents, and chaplaincy, but now it's chaplaincy is a separate policy.
Mm-hmm.
It's peer support and critical incidents because they do cross over a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And our peer support people, a lot of them are trained in critical incidents and work critical incidents. And those are all actually all sworn folks, except we have a couple that are from a couple of dispatchers and at least one crime scene technician.
Right. Yeah, because I think
So
I asked last time, like, what are the policies and practices for critical incident? Do we know how long a person needs to take off? What's this? Not just you didn't do it, so you're good to go back to work. No, if you've been working 23 hours, and you just experienced a critical incident, there should be some kind of policy of you being able to rest, not just show back up at.
yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And those kinds of things, the kind of things that we don't even think about, like we've added that anybody involved directly with a critical incident, that could be the person who took the call, that could be the
Mhm.
dispatcher, that could be the crime scene technician, the officer, the sergeant, whomever, anyone involved with that critical incident, they are notified of when the critical incident debrief will be, and they're
Yeah.
somebody wants your attention.
I think they hear
um,
something outside, so they're going crazy.
um, so they're all notified. So that, and I think we talked about it before, that the dispatchers at one time, they did not find out anything about the calls. They were just kind of in the dark, but now they are included in that. And they have been for about 5 years. But I can't remember. I don't think it's mandatory that they go to the debrief. It's mandatory for us to hold them. And that's something that we have discussed, is whether or not you make that mandatory, that they actually have to go. And well, of course, you know what the tricky part here is, do you re-traumatize them if you make them go? So, and sit through folks talking about the whole thing. And I have only ever been to one critical incident debrief, just out of respect for the people that are, that are there. Because of course it's highly confidential and all of that. And there were two people that were involved in a child's death, this particular one. And they were the two officers that responded. And one officer during the debrief talked quite a bit and didn't seem to, rather comfortable just getting it out, and the other person never said a thing, not a single word. And to me, that just said that you don't know how people react to trauma. I mean, or how they process it. So that's some of the things that we're dealing with in the policy tricky, because that one in particular is, do you make it mandatory for them to go? I think that, what we're talking about right now is making it mandatory that they see someone, that they go and see our mental health professional. And the mental health professional says, okay, he doesn't seem to be, or she doesn't seem to be, uh, you know, traumatized by this or unable to manage it or whatever. Or maybe they do and they need to, be followed up with, or go to regular counseling, or whatever it is the mental health professional recommends.
That is true. And
That
maybe
may be the better way to deal with it.
we think of a tiered support process, right? Like the first debriefing is really psychoeducation around, here's what signs and symptoms to look out for. Here's a typical, you never know how a person will respond, but here's some patterns that might have that can typically happen with your sleep, with how you eat, with your mood. Like, where's your baseline, and get people to identify
That's
their own baseline,
that's good. Yeah.
because everybody's different. Like if I already have insomnia, telling me loss of sleep at a critical incident isn't going to be a telltale sign for me because I'm already not sleeping well. But I might have other signs and symptoms that's different from my baseline. And so maybe there's some part of the policy that we create in how it's tiered, so that you first, you don't, you like you said, you don't want to re-traumatize people if they're not ready to tell the story, if they're not in that place. That's kind of a narrative therapy. It takes a lot of preparation to do that. So even before you have somebody tell a story, you want to give them coping skills. How do you regulate? How do you know your body? How do you can tell when you're feeling anxious and overwhelmed? Are you feeling triggered? Are your hands sweaty? Are you sweating? Are your jaws clenching? Do you get butterflies in your stomach? How do you know? And then also, how do you regulate? Do you take deep breaths? Do you do isometric exercises? Like, what are the things that you cope, so when you're telling something hard and you get triggered, you can bring yourself back down? And so there's ways to go about it versus just, you had a critical incident, come on Thursday, say what happened, and I'm all better. Like, you may not actually get that presentation, but knowing how to take deep breaths and regulate yourself, knowing though how, where your peak of anger or frustration, when you're getting to that point, a lot of people don't really realize when you have the explosion, whatever it is, like if you're thinking about anger, you got there. So most people don't, some people get there faster, but there's signs like, oh, my eyes got glossy. Oh, I start feeling hot. Oh, I realized I was doing this with my hand. And once you start noticing your signs, you can then start to practice. I need to exit this situation because I'm about to explode. Like, I'm not regulated. And so, we could consider, like, what does that look like that really honors individual mental health? So many people don't even know their own baseline of
Mhm.
what's true for them, you know.
See, this is the kind of training that we need, and there's no reason it can't be. And I mean, I know that training is out there, but there's no reason that this can't be something that is done in 20 minutes, before folks go out on their shift,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
even less, just to, and I really do think it has to be constant. And it doesn't even matter if it's the same message over and over again. It's like, because you're going to pick up something different every single time. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what just, and I hate to put it like this, but kind of just an in your face, this is how what we need to be aware of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with the peer support and critical incident policy, are you working on that with some officers right now?
I am working on it, and then I have officers I can call on that are a group of folks who will look at it and say, okay, this, we need to mention this. We need to, you have to think about, whatever. I mean, they're the ones that edit it, and and uh, kind of keep us on track so that it is what applies to the officers and the folks that are, in the on the front lines, the dispatchers, the techs, even
Yeah.
the lab people.
And another a thing, and I don't think we have leverage to do this, but it just really made me realize, like, and so many officers and people in general, a lot of men keep things to themselves, and so one of the things I just realized that came to my brain is family members and friends will notice a change sometimes before the person notices the change,
Mm.
or they might be able to name it when the person isn't willing or doesn't see it, right? Like, I've been in very close, intimate relationships with officers, and I'm like, you were having nightmares, but you don't remember. But I was asleep. I heard you, like I saw, and so stuff like that. Even when we think about critical incident, they don't have to share that, but maybe even we have something where there's this way in which you ask people close to you, hey, something happened at work on this Monday. Can you be my peer support to just notice if my mood is changed? Like, help me notice the things that I might not notice, or help me be a good self report. It's just like when you do a mental health assessment, you don't just talk to the person. You try to talk to their family members, their friends, their cousins, their mom, their dad, their whoever, to get collateral information. And one of the healthy things I think a person could do is have agency over that, to say, hey, partner, hey, not involving you in my work, but there was a critical incident. And obviously, if you've been an officer for a long time, the spectrum of critical incident might look really different. You can have something that seems really intense that doesn't really dysregulate you much because you've been an officer for a long time. These are things you see regularly, versus a new officer might get really jarred early on. And so that there's some type of framework where the officer could say, I did my own self evaluation, so I know I'm off my own baseline. And that's okay. It's not a big deal. Then I could just do practice my tools to get back on my baseline. But it's awareness first. And so even
Awareness, yeah.
even that. So, like, once the policy is created, we could back up from it a little bit and start to think about what are some tiered things officers could do before they get to, or as part of, that policy that we're asking officers to have agency, whether they share that information or not, I think would be important.
And for peer support and critical incidents, that it's the policy covers the responsibility of the um, department, and it covers responsibility of the person who is in need of or receiving services, and it covers the responsibility of the peer support and critical incident teams as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that was why we, put them together, was because you just can't really separate the two,
And
and
maybe
they do
and maybe
overlap so much.
and maybe that's something, I know it's a specific training for the peer support teams, but maybe that's what the peer support team adds on. Like they're checking about their own, the person's agency. Are you checking in with your family and friends? Like, are you, not just an interrogation? Are you drinking too much? But like, okay, what's your baseline? If you typically drink 2, 3 beers at night, but now you like, I'm drinking or I'm not drinking.
Yeah, that could be a change too, huh? Because I just don't feel like being social. So, yeah.
Yeah. Like what, getting people to know their own baseline. And maybe that is what peer support also looks like. It's just support. And maybe it's not necessarily a specific policy, but it's a practice and it's a value,
Mhm.
you know. I'm excited to see it because I do think before you go, at least if we could see that, if we have something to work with and I can add my 2 cents. And then when she joins us, can you do an overlap with her? Do these days work
Yeah,
for her?
yeah. Because I'll actually, and I told Chief Osmus this, that I mean, I'm actually going to be on vacation until the 1st of August.
Okay.
So and I will totally be available to Chief Osmus for, whatever she needs, because this is that important. And honestly, Commissioner Booker, we have never been this close before.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because we are working with you. I'm telling you, that's the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've never been this close before. We have both policies have been on the table for a couple of years and they haven't been completed. And if we just get to the point where we have a final draft that you can take to your people and we can start it through our process, through legal and whoever, I don't know who all this, I believe the city attorney has to look at it, but the first thing we would do is put it through our peer support and critical incident team and say, okay, you have an opportunity for, 14 days to make comments, please do. And we
Mm-hmm.
come back to you and you could do the same thing with your folks and say, okay, and we come back and discuss those comments and, massage it so that we can get something that's workable, and then send it through the city process. But if it's sent through the city process already as a product of the police commission and the police department, I think it has a lot better chance of not just getting approved, but getting finalized, because that's a big problem, as you know, with a lot of things. They get started, they don't get,
That's true. And
they
as the
just die
commission,
somewhere.
we have the authority to create policy. So, we can implement certain policies.
Okay.
So yeah, that's great. I think, but as like you said, the more consensus we have and we work on something together and it makes sense to everybody, and then folks aren't waving this flag and saying we tried, but the commission shut it down, or we
Mhm.
asked and OPD was unresponsive. Like we're really just in here, and that's the hope, that's the prayer. That's why I joined the commission. I know because I was like, I literally care about policies, practices, mental health, and these officers and the folks of the city. And so this is like one of my sweet spots. I'm really excited that we could do this together. If nothing else happens on my time on the commission, if we could do something that creates healthy opportunities, I'll feel good.
Yeah, that actually would be a lot. And it means a lot too to these officers. I know it, to know that somebody's paying attention. Because so often, if all you do is, look at the media, it looks like we're at odds with each other all the time.
My gosh, it's so frustrating. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is not a story, but that's all it does all
And
day.
that's what they see, and that's not what is actually happening. So this, to me, this is really, really, clearly, it's really, really important to both of us. I'll tell you what I can do is the peer support, and critical incident policy. I am going to come up with my version of the final draft and send it to our people and send it to you. And
Okay.
I'll do that by Friday.
Okay.
And so we can just get that one moving forward. And then the wellness policy, I will have something by next week that is actually in the format of, because I'm taking it from several different places, and we actually do have a policy and procedures manual for wellness that has a lot of information in it. I'm taking it from that. I'm taking it from some perf examples. I'm taking it from policies that IACP put out, sample policies, and
Mm-hmm.
then one other one from now I can't remember, it's either San Diego or San Antonio, that it's their policy, so it's trying to pull those things together, make it something that works
Okay.
for Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I'll try to have that on the official template that the city uses.
Okay.
So
And
that,
then we got, oh yeah, and then this week and then next week, and then we have a holiday, and then technically that Tuesday is your last day.
well, it's Friday.
Okay. What's her name
I should have
again?
just told everybody, huh?
What's her name again that's supposed to join us?
Oh, her name is Maria, and her last name is Madlansacay. Madansacay. We call her Officer Doctor.
Officer Doctor. And Maria, you said is her first name?
Yes, Maria. Yeah, her husband works for OPD as well.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure he works in the academy. Well, he does. I don't know exactly what he does, to tell you the truth, but he is in the academy. And she has been involved with peer support for many years, and she's a really good trainer. I don't know how much training she does, but she's really good at it. So, and she's very quiet. So I think people just don't realize how talented she is. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes at OPD, that's a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
because the more they see, here's another job, here's another task, here's another program. It's like, wait. So, but yeah, I think, like I said, I think she's perfect. I really do. For this,
That's great.
absolute perfect
I'm
for this.
excited to meet her. I'm excited to meet her and see what we can do. And then um
And I've kept her updated on everything we've done so far too. Just in the, kind of anticipating that she might get more deeply involved with the wellness unit. And I know she has a full-time job right now, but we'll see how they work things out.
that sounds good. And so if you send that Friday, I have a funeral to go to Saturday, so I have some
Oh
people in
no.
town. So maybe I'll look at it on Friday. If not, then I'll look at it on Monday.
Yeah, so our next meeting isn't for 2 weeks, so that
Our
gives us a
next
little bit.
it
Wait,
gives
is
us
it?
some
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I was gonna
Yeah.
say, wait, when is the holiday?
Wait, because let me look at the calendar. Actually, the calendar. We meet the second and fourth. So we got actually a couple weeks because there's a fifth Monday.
Oh,
But
okay.
but maybe we could meet the fifth Monday if we decide we want to, because I think the NSA ad hoc is complete. Because we were
Okay.
switching off. So we could always I don't know. I have to ask the rules. Let me not speak too soon because I don't know if we
Yeah.
can do that. But if
Well, you let
not,
me know, because this is a priority for me, and I am willing to adjust my schedule however I need to. What I'm trying to do right now, oh, I was going to tell you too that I'm trying to just like, hand off as many things as I can so that people are accountable for some of this. And it isn't as easy as it sounds, because sometimes you'll go to, a commander and say, this is what I need. And they'll say, we just don't have
mm,
have the wherewithal to do it. That's happened a couple times. But, I just keep going going to someone else. But the main things I'm trying just to put, and I've made it very clear to people, I'm not asking you to take on additional responsibility. I'm asking you just to hold it together until we know what we're doing. That's
mhm,
all.
mhm.
So the advisory board, I set up a meeting for the whatever Tuesday, this coming Tuesday is. 30th, is that the 30th?
The 29th.
29th. Okay, so I set a meeting up for that morning, and I have 12 people that I will talk to. I'll send you the agenda actually, so you can see what that is. So that some of these things have actually been talked about, but it's peer support, it's critical incidents, it's the policies, it's the what the whole purpose of, and I took out of our policy and procedures manual, I took the purpose of the advisory board, the requirements for members, all of that. I pulled all of that out of there for them so they have an understanding of what this is. And what the expectation is with this meeting is that the folks sitting around that table, and it's a pretty good representation of the department, and a lot of them are critical incident peer support people, or two are
Mm-hmm.
folks who have been very involved with the physical health of the department. And so the request from them will be that they come up with a list of names. And I'm going to ask uh, uh, our peer support coordinator to kind of lead the charge on this, her and Maria Madlansike.
Okay.
And don't and I may be pronouncing her name wrong, by the way. But Maria is Maria. So
Hmm.
I've heard her name pronounced so many different ways, but I'm just asking them to come up with a group of people that actually can serve as the advisory board,
Yeah,
so
that would.
that establish it or reestablish it actually, so it does exist. And DC Osmus is behind us 1,000%. So that's a really good thing, because once there is actually someone in the position of uh, wellness coordinator, this is still a group of folks that provide support, that can, that one of the reasons we involved them from the outside was because they could provide funding, they could provide professional support. We had, three mental health professionals. So it can extend to that if with once there is a person in that coordinator's position. And what that does is it makes the lift of the staff in the wellness unit a little lighter.
Honestly, and anybody, coordinator, anybody in a leadership position, to having a body of people that's all for you and that's connected to resources that you might not be connected with is just going to be so helpful.
And we need that group of people to really need that group of people to hold our feet to the fire. I mean, to make us accountable, because one of the weaknesses with wellness has been data collection. And you know how critical that is if you're going to know what you're doing and where you're going. How can you move forward or know what path to take if you don't know where you've been or where you are right now? So that's something that, that's an example of something that, they can hold the person, hold the unit accountable for. Funding. We know, and in those the appendix that has the resources, we know when those dates are that the grants are released. Have we
Exactly.
applied for those? Yeah, I
Exactly.
mean, so that's part of, when that group meets every quarter, whatever they decide to do. We used to meet quarterly. When that group meets, the wellness coordinator reports out, so that they know what's going on and they can provide support and guidance, or if need be, ask the right questions.
Yeah, and it would be nice too if those folks, like you said, some of the previous committee folks could um find funding. That would be nice.
Well, and again, I'm going to say this until I leave. We've got to have a grants coordinator. I mean, that position's been empty for at least 4 years, and that is just missed opportunity after missed opportunity.
Um,
And I know DC Osmus would sit here and say, and somebody to do contracts, because of course, once you have the funding, then somebody has to take care of these contracts that you write under the funding, because a lot of it is example with collective healing was Youth Alive, DDP. I mean, we worked with a lot of other entities, and some of the organizations and foundations, we had to have not just MOUs, but we had to have contracts with them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's, it really is all tied together. And I know, I didn't realize 25% of the city staff positions were vacant, but I do realize, I do know it takes a year to hire anyone. And that's a lot of the problem with recruiting is, well, you guys took too long. I'm going to San Francisco or Hayward or, wherever. So I don't know what you do about that, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's all tied together to it, but it's very layered and very complex. I mean, where do you even start? I don't know. And I really feel for the people who are managing these departments, and they even have an answer but can't, execute it.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was driving somewhere in the city and it wasn't OPD related, but I was thinking about people that go to school for um, city management. Like Oakland is a really hard city to manage. There's just so much. I mean, I imagine any city is, but it's just so much. So many
I
parts.
You are so right. I mean, and I can tell you that from my own experience working in two other cities. Neither one of them were in California, working for a state government, federal government. And honestly, I've never seen anything like this. Never. And it's just very disjointed.
It
I
is.
mean, and
Unfortunately,
the bad thing about it is people have the intent is good. It just doesn't play out. But
that's true. So we'll see. Well, that's good. Well, I'm glad we have some motion, and then maybe we can invite Maria to the next meeting,
oh, okay.
just
Yeah.
so there's some overlap, and we can
Hmm.
see, and that'll be nice if she's ready to hit the ground
We'll see.
running,
That's
as
one.
they say.
Well, you know how it works at OPD if you're ready or not.
Right, that's what DC Osman said. I said the new recruits went out this weekend. I said, okay, Juneteenth weekend. She said, welcome.
Yeah,
Good
just
weekend.
do it.
I
Put
was
on a
thinking about
parachute if you have to. All right.
oh,
So nothing
good.
from Commissioner Farmer.
No, nothing. I haven't
I
heard
hope
from
he's
him.
all right.
I hope so too. I hope he's okay. He's got a lot going on. I mean, unfortunately, his seat is limited. His time is limited on the commission. So the value add that he adds, hopefully he comes in the ad hocs and stuff like that. But I'm not sure how much longer he'll be able to be as present as he is now.
So how does that work? I mean, I saw the selection committee made some recommendations. And so what would be the next step?
They make the recommendations, it goes to city council.
Oh, it goes to council.
City
Okay.
council approves it or not. If they approve everybody, then the folks have to do a few more things behind the scenes and get sworn in. And then once they're sworn in, they'll get onboarded and all of that stuff. And then we'll have new commissioners.
So what is the mayor's role in all this?
She has her own seats.
Oh,
So
okay, I
the
see.
election panel seats and the mayoral seats. And she does have a seat open for an alternate. She had a different seat, which was Judge Griot. She appointed him, and so he's on the commission. She still has an alternate seat, somebody that didn't move forward. But the current seats, two of them are short term because they're replacing commissioners that left early. So those are up in October. So then we'll have to figure out if those same people reapply and stay and get a full term. And then the other seat is Ricardo's seat. which is he's just reapplying for his seat. And
Oh,
then
okay.
there's an alternate seat, which was Omar. Omar was an alternate when Commissioner Wilson passed, it stepped down and passed. Then, you know, as a commission, you put the alternate in that. I mean, that's the whole point of having alternates, right? To put them in the seat. So he took over Wilson's seat that
Oh,
is supposed to go into October, but he reapplied and was not accepted, I guess, by the selection panel. So those two seats are still temporary. You know, their term is almost up. So
okay.
that's what happens. And so we'll see. So it depends on how fast they move through city council and how fast they're sworn in, and particularly for Commissioner Farmer, whoever has Wilson's seat, how, the he'll exchange with that person, whoever that is. And I'm not
It's and it's always kind of tough. I think that's one of the things that we heard this word last week over and over again about stability, and that's one of the things that is so important about having a plan is that we hit the reset button all the time, and and that can cause you to lose a lot.
and
So
honestly, and that was one of the things I was saying, and hopefully, when I went to the meeting, which is we can't just have a bunch of all new commissioners. That's crazy making. We have to have some institutional knowledge. Like having some overlap is really important for the work, especially like you said, when you
absolutely.
hear all of these things, false narratives in the media and in the press, and these letters and these stories and these comments. Very intentional, very strategic, brilliant, really, but not true and not accurate. And so it's very interesting, the even with the, you know meeting with our firm and being interviewed by people for the chief search and all of that. They're like, oh, it's not like that at all. Like, what you read and what you hear, and then you meet the commissioners. It's like, these are people volunteering their time to
I
come.
mean, really. This is totally for the love of it. I mean,
Totally for the love of
uh,
the city and the people. And we're gonna all, like you said, we're gonna all have differences of opinion and needs and desires, but hopefully the goal is not, sometimes it's hard to think that some people aren't, what's the word I'm looking for, just cruel.
genuine.
Some people are just cruel and have ill
Oh,
intent,
well,
and it's like, what is their angle? What is your goal? Like, I don't get it sometimes. And but
I don't either. I really don't. But you know what? I think too, to me, trying to understand where other people are sometimes. I think, and I think that especially what I've seen with the police commission, with people that question that, with city council, with people that question everything that it might not even be city council's idea. It's just something that has to pass through them. And I think a lot of it, honestly, is trust. I think that people question things and are suspicious and negative and all of that when they have and a lot of times justifiable, trust issues.
mhm.
So in a way, to me, I don't know, kind of have some kind of, empathy or compassion for that too, because there's definitely a reason that we're all like we are, good or bad.
Good or bad, but we try and we do our best and we keep showing up and
Yeah.
keep leading from a place of love and integrity
Be kind, just be kind.
and a little bit of laughter, a little bit of
Yeah.
laughter.
Ah. Okay, so my task is to Friday send you the peer support and critical incident in its the policy in its current form, and you can
Yeah,
start making
and I
comments.
can start looking at it. That would be great.
And then next week I'll get the wellness policy to you in um, on the approved template so that
Okay.
we can see what that looks like too to start working with that.
Okay. Sounds good. Have a good week.
Thank you, ma'am, and you do the same, and I'll see you
In a few weeks,
in
but we
two
should
weeks.
talk over email because it
Yeah,
might be more than that. So we have to figure out if we want to have an extra meeting or something.
that's fine with me. Whatever you
Okay,
want to do, just let me know.
before you go on vacation.
Yeah, before I go on vacation.
I'm excited. Are you gonna travel?
Well, my niece is in Barcelona, and I've been promising her for a year I was coming to see her. Her son is now 4 years old, and I haven't seen him for 2 years.
Uh,
So, yeah, and she was
Barcelona.
transferred there with her job. So that's my first stop. My daughter and I are going to go see her. So, yeah,
That's nice. Oh,
yeah.
that's nice. That's good. That's a good
I
trip.
know. That'll be really nice. She's already got all kinds of things, planned, and
And for
that's who
you,
she is. Yeah,
that's good.
she likes to go and she likes to plan, and yeah, so that'll be. I just want to see her and
Go
the
to the.
little
I
one.
think I was in. Was it Barcelona? I went or Madrid. It was in Spain. I'm pretty sure where I went to the Picasso Museum.
Oh, wow.
It was
Oh,
nice.
that's a stop to make.
Add that to your list. It was nice. I was like, oh, it's a new appreciation.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. Oh, that's amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.